For a long time, we have reflected on consciousness philosophically, on being, experience, the I. But neuroscience has brought it into the laboratory and given it a new language. What we call reality is not a directly perceived, fixed object. Rather, it is a controlled hallucination constructed by the brain. At times of complete unconsciousness, this becomes clear. Consciousness is not a permanent possession. It is an active process, continuously formed moment by moment. The brain does not merely receive the external world, it predicts it. It combines sensory signals with prior assumptions to generate its best guess. This best guess becomes what we see, hear, and feel. In other words, we do not simply receive reality, we construct it. When this construction is constrained by sensory input, we call it reality. When that constraint loosens, we call it illusion. Going deeper, we find that our sense of I is constructed in the same way. The sense of body ownership, first-person perspective, agency, and continuity over time. Together, these create what we experience as the self. The heartbeat, the breath, the internal state of our organs. This interoception forms the foundation of our sense of existence. Consciousness, therefore, is not merely about thought. It is deeply tied to the process of being alive. We are not just information processing machines. We are living prediction makers, embodied beings of flesh and blood who continuously shape their experiential world. Here the question, who am I, takes on a new meaning. Earlier, it was a question of identity, what I do, what I have achieved, how much I know. Now it becomes a question of design. From what structure am I constructing my experience? What is the nature of my predictions? From which corner of my axle cube am I viewing the design of my potential? Within this design of potential, I see myself as a bridge between science and philosophy, between structure and consciousness, between success and meaning. If the brain constructs experience, then development is not merely the expansion of skills. It is the maturation of the construction process itself. It is the refinement of prediction, the deepening of responsibility, and the gradual alignment with reality. In discussions of human development, we often emphasize the richness of human life. Models of cognitive development show us that the structure of thinking evolves, yet the question remains: does changing thought alone make a person whole? Does increasing competence alone mature the self? Or do we need an integrated design where knowledge, emotion, identity, and action, the four dimensions, are attuned to reality through coherent prediction? If the experience of self and reality is prediction-based, then psychology too gains new light. Depression, for instance, may be understood not merely as a symptom, but as a structural error in predictive processing. Treatment then becomes not symptom-driven, but process-driven, not suppression of signs, but restructuring of the construction mechanism itself. This perspective does not diminish the human ego, it enlarges our sense of wonder. Just as great scientists displaced us from the center of the universe and situated us within the continuity of life, consciousness science shows that our experiential world and our sense of self are evolved expressions of nature itself. We are not standing outside existence, we are its conscious flow. Potential blossoms when a person removes inner divisions and becomes integrated. When the chase for success gives way to a walk toward meaning. When time is seen not as something to manage, but as something to relate to. When failure is accepted not as shame, but as information. I see myself as a builder, one who provides structure, yet leaves space for life within that structure. Development is not a straight line. It is cyclical, layered, a balance of inward and outward journeys. The I is not a final definition. It is an ongoing process, refining prediction, deepening alignment with reality, and embodying responsibility through action. Each of us is born with a seed of potential, but learning to read the design of that seed is the real work.